Hey everybody, Norm from Tested here at Comic-Con 2017. It's time to talk about some model kits. So I'm joined by, once again, Frank Winsper here of Moebius Models. Frank, you have here the USS Franklin from Star Trek Beyond. I only saw a picture of this at WonderCon when I saw you last.
Yes, it's come along pretty quick.
Oh my
This
goodness.
the first printing of it. We got it just a couple days ago, so it's definitely new to us.
Oh my gosh. So you said two things there. You said it came together quick and printing. Those things go together because now you're rapidly prototyping using 3D printing your prototype models.
Yes, it's made everything so much simpler. Instead of looking at the files, now we can see what it really looks like before anything goes to tooling.
And really the sculptural detail on this, these fins on the top, isn't something I even knew was in the ship watching the movie or even look at the photos. Yeah. It really is that the almost relief detail that you have that you can only see in a model.
It moves so fast on screen, there's so much you don't notice. There's so much more to this ship than people realize.
And the design, obviously, it's an NX ship.
Yes.
Of the Enterprise era, the TV show, which has a different form factor than like your Galaxy classes you see in the Next Generation, which also means that the nacelles connect directly to the saucer, which makes it a stand kind of interesting. Tell me about the design of this stand you've built.
Well, the stand, we thought about it a little bit, and I mean, everyone hates to have that hole in the bottom, and when you look at this, there's really no way to perfectly balance it.
Right.
So what we did was we made it so it just comes right off the stand, and easy to take it off, inspect a little closer.
Right, and it's balanced.
Yes, it's made it that much easier to balance without having to worry about a center of it and having that plain old steel rod or plastic arm.
And then having a prototype like this also lets you confirm how the weight distribution is going to work.
Oh, absolutely. It makes it so much easier and quicker. I'd like to think it'll help out in the future with all the other kits, but not everything can be done this easily from the files, where Studio Direct files make it just absolutely simple to get these kind of things done.
Will you have a lighting kit for this, or do fans design lighting kits for your models? I
know fans will. I don't know if our licensing will allow us to do a lighting kit. It would be great, because of course everybody wants it now. Yes. Lighting, photo edge, all the details. I mean, you could make it look so realistic with all the accessories that come out.
But you're not, of course, you're allowing fans to do that because they could just poke out the windows, put in some plastic, put some fiber optic, and light it as if it was a miniature from those old films.
Well, we try to make it simple enough for someone to do that. I mean, we look at our kits as a good starting point, that if someone wants to add as much as they want, we've tried to simplify that process for them.
Now, in terms of the designing process, when we did see you at WonderCon, we saw an early prototype, a print prototype of course, the Discovery from 2001. Now, this looks a little more further down the line. Is this a production model?
This is actually first test shot, so it's fully injected, very minor changes, and it's ready to go into production. I mean, it's as close as it can be.
This is going to be, basically, if I bought the kit, when it comes out this winter, put it together, this is the model.
This is it. Different color injection, of course. It won't be gray. But we try to do the darker colors on a test shot so we can pick up all the small detail instead of having to prime it. It'll be probably a off-white injection to make it much closer to the actual prop.
How oftentimes when you get that first injection press, you have to go back and redo a mold? I know it's
every time.
Oh, really?
Every time. It's always so close, but it could be something from a fit issue to a small detail that the factory didn't quite get right. Is sometimes getting the final file to tooling or even the prototype. They make changes for who knows what reason. Things just happen along the way. So we have to go back over the whole thing again, just like it was from start.
And it's about having a good relationship with the people doing your tooling, and so that they know, based on the specs you've delivered and the files you've delivered, it's going to be to spec.
Yes. Well, they finally realized that we have to answer to the licensors.
Of course.
So sometimes it's not the way we like it, it's the way the studio wants to see it portrayed.
Now, this is injection molded plastic. That's a 3D printed prototype.
Yes.
But what you have below it is die cast. And I haven't really seen a die cast prototype before. This is really interesting. Tell me about what's going on with this diecast.
Well, really the methods are pretty similar to the plastic. It's just a different kind of metal they use in the tooling, and of course the runners are much bigger because the flow on it, and of course the heating characteristics, all that engineering stuff that is usually pretty past me.
This is a really big and solid die-cast piece. You have two halves, of course, of a flying sub, Voyage to the bottom of the sea. You guys have been working on this for a while. I've seen prototypes and this mock-ups and designs for your website for a long time.
We've been trying. It's one of those things that sometimes you have the budget restraints, like to do this giant die-cast tool. Are we really ready to start? So we've put it off a couple times just because of that. Either the lighting wasn't finished, or you weren't happy with the way the interior fit into this. Right now we're held up with lighting on the reactor wall. It doesn't flash quite right, so it's put a little bit of a hold on it.
And this model will have an interior, will have lighting. This is one of your finished.
This is going to be the finished, yes.
Oh, at this scale?
Yes.
Amazing.
We've
Holy
also,
smokes.
one thing that people asked about when we did our Jupiter 2, the factory, batteries. That's all they could talk about. Well, batteries. People like to move things. So what we did on this too is something a little different. We've got a port for a plug-in, and we also have a port for a micro USB.
Oh, interesting.
So someone can plug in a battery pack instead of having that AAA. It's much simpler to move around. Everybody likes to pick it up and not be attached.
Oh, that's so cool. And it's amazing that you guys bring your prototypes to conventions like this. Is that's your...
The remote control.
Remote control
for
is a miniature version of it.
It's we thought if we're going to have to tool up a remote, why not make it look like Flying Sub as well?
Wow. What's your target for releasing this?
Well, I'd like to have it out by the end of the year, because Christmas is always a good time to get something like this, but it's sketchy at this point. And end of this year, beginning of next year, somewhere around then, we'll have it done.
All right, looking very forward to it. Thank you so much, Frank, for
you're
sharing
welcome.
with us some of the models coming up from Moebius Models, and we'll keep an eye on it online.
Thanks.
Thank you.